This one was frustrating, man. The Heat lose to the Bucks, snapped their 3-game win streak. The attention to detail just wasn't there. That's what really stood out to me. They're losing guys on screens,
Yeah.
not finishing defensive possessions with rebounds, too many careless turnovers, settling for threes, I thought, for most of this game. We've gotten a handful of these kinds of games this season. I I really thought the Heat blew an opportunity here to kind of keep the good times rolling, not only to extend their win streak, but just to also keep pace in the Eastern Conference standings, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
Yeah, they absolutely blew it. This was an eminently winnable game. The shot selection wasn't great. The shot making ability was poor. The defensive, just again, strange decision making there as far as when to pick up switches or exactly what to do in certain situations. They lost guys on screens, just leaving guys wide open from the perimeter. Bobby Portis, Kevin Porter Jr. I mean, those guys, Ryan Rollins, those guys caught fire at differing points throughout the game, and a lot of it was just from wide open looks that they had from the perimeter. Now, credit to Milwaukee, they did hit some tough shots, but I think a lot of this just falls on Miami. I don't know if they got too comfortable. I don't know if they just thought, oh, we'd be able to coast through here. In a game where Giannis Antetokounmpo wasn't playing, obviously, and you wind up losing to a team that really is struggling and has been struggling all season long. It's just disappointing that Miami has continued to show the same thing. Like we talked after the All-Star break that what, I was curious in particular how Miami was going to be able to respond. Like what was the attitude of this team going down the stretch and trying to see whether or not this was a group that had any sense of urgency and understanding of what was at stake here. And we saw it during the first two games, albeit against inferior opponents. That's fine. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat these teams. And Milwaukee was one of those teams. And Miami came into the game tonight with the expectation that they would win and without showing any effort whatsoever or any kind of consistent effort in terms of being able to do, as you said, the little things. Very sloppy game, a lot of turnovers in key moments too, when you were able to build a slight lead, because it never felt like Miami was able to pull away, but they did have a lead at some point. They even had a lead late in the fourth quarter too, and let that slip away. So just a incredibly head scratching game from Miami, because I just didn't see anything there where they understood what was at stake here, and just failed in a number of different things with it, offensively, defensively, and everything in between. So it's a very disappointing loss.
Yeah, you look at Milwaukee's box score, man. Like Kevin Porter Jr., 32 points. Ryan Rollins,
Yeah.
21 points. They kept losing those guys. It just felt like
Yep.
they could not get containment on either of them. Ryan Rollins specifically. Kevin Porter Jr. hit some tough shots in the fourth quarter. Ryan Rollins got a
Yep.
couple of wide open ones. Like at some
Absolutely.
point, Kevin Porter Jr. is just going to make tough shots, and you just sort of throw your hands up and say, "What are you going to do?" With Rollins, just letting him walk into these mid-range shots, which is right in his wheelhouse. Like that is on the Ryan Rollins scouting report. Um, I could, I just, it was so out of character for this Heat team. It felt like
Mhm.
that they didn't have the scout on what Milwaukee wanted to run. And I'm not going to sit here and claim that I'm watching the Bucks closely game to game, and maybe this was a new thing that they were doing, but their staggered screens, their double screens, some of the drag screen stuff that they were doing, it really felt like it took the Heat for a loop there. Like they just didn't know how to defend it. The Heat have been switching everything more often since for about like a month, maybe a couple months now.
Yeah.
They had Bam high up on some of these screens, and then they've always all season long have had their perimeter guys fight over those screens. But Milwaukee was just able to put bodies on Davion Mitchell, Pelle Larson. I'm not blaming anybody specifically. I'm just telling you the guys that were involved in this, and it was just time after time. Miami's defenders hitting a Milwaukee Buck body, and then Kevin Porter Jr. or Ryan Rollins or somebody else just getting downhill for these wide open layups. I mean, how many wide open layups were in this game? It was very out of character for the Heat, who do a really good job limiting that stuff typically.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, it was strange to see this. I don't know. You wonder whether or not they were looking ahead to maybe a tougher matchup down the week later on this week in Philadelphia. I don't know, because typically Miami does understand these things, but you said that this is a typical of this team. I don't know. I don't even know if I can make that point anymore, because we've just seen this so
Hmm.
consistent where they show moments of not necessarily being great, but at least being good and understanding what's at stake here. And then you have you follow that up with a very disappointing loss. Like we just talked about, we've talked a number of times over the course of the season, their inability of late to win multiple games in a row. And here they are, they finally win 3 games in a row, one before the All-Star break. And it look like they're maybe starting to build some momentum. They're healthy. No excuses tonight.